Does anybody remember Apple Vision Pro? Does anybody remember Apple Vision Pro? Does anybody remember Apple Vision Pro? You better believe we remember Apple Vision Pro. We are living Apple Vision Pro. I've had the Apple Vision Pro for 2 months now, and I'm still having a blast every time I put this thing on to use it. But Viper, how are you using your Apple Vision Pro? Let me talk to ya. What's up, people? This your boy Viper, the man about tech, back again for the video. And the main thing that I use my Apple Vision Pro for these days is to work. So I am a social media manager. So that means I manage different social accounts. I manage a Facebook account, our Threads account, our Twitter account, so on and so forth. So in my day-to-day job, I have to make and produce content on the daily for these different platforms. And it's easier for me to do that inside of the Apple Vision Pro. Because when I open up a browser inside of Apple Vision Pro, I can expand it and make it big. So I can see everything clearly, everything is big. It's almost like having a big TV in front of you as I'm composing tweets, responding to different tweets. I do a thumbnail audit, so I look at people's thumbnails, and it's always nice and easy to look at those thumbnails on a bigger display, which the Vision Pro makes possible. So first and foremost, it's a work machine, which makes it even great because it's a fun way for me to do my job every day. So I love Apple Vision Pro for that. But when I'm not working, I would say I'm primarily using it, again, to do different social media things like browse the web, browse my Twitter account, different things like that. I also am a big fan of consuming media with the Apple Vision Pro. Just the other day, I was watching Minority Report because Apple TV just introduced a bunch of free movies that we have access to through the end of April, and Minority Report was one of those movies. So I'm like, you know what? Let me watch this movie. And it was a very pleasurable experience watching that movie on Apple Vision Pro. If you haven't already, hit subscribe for more Apple content. The other cool thing about the Apple Vision Pro is that multitasking is almost infinite because you have to remember we're talking about spatial computing, which means you're not confined to a monitor or display anymore. You basically have the whole of your environment to use screens here, screens there, screen top, screen bottom, screens everywhere. So on one point, I'm watching YouTube here on one side. In here, I got a web browser in front of me. Over here, maybe I got a iMessage open. I mean, just the level, the depth of the multitasking on Apple Vision Pro is kind of bananas. It's kind of crazy. And then to put the cherry on top, you got developers ever expanding that application because natively with the Apple Vision Pro, you can cache your MacBook Pro display into your Vision Pro. But with an app called Split Screen, you can now turn that MacBook display into 2 MacBook displays. Just different things like that, which will allow you to get the most out of productivity with your Apple Vision Pro, means that this thing is legit, it's enjoyable, it is just, chef kiss. Now, around the release of the Vision Pro, there was some news, more like some consternation about apps that are not on the Vision Pro, mainly YouTube and Netflix. But as I just alluded to, developers have come to the rescue because you have great alternatives already on Vision Pro. One of the better alternatives for Netflix is an app called Supercut, which allows you to watch Netflix, but not only does it allow you to watch Netflix, you get spatial audio in 4K natively, oh, I shouldn't say natively, but you get spatial audio and 4K using that Supercut app for your Netflix needs. It is legit. Unfortunately, with the using Netflix on Safari, you don't get access to all these extras, but with the Supercut app, you do get the extra sauce, and it makes for a much more pleasurable Netflix viewing experience when you're using Supercut. I've told you guys before about the Juno app for YouTube on Vision Pro. We don't have a native YouTube app yet, but Juno comes to the rescue, gives you that full-fledged YouTube functionality. Now, there are some things missing, like you can't comment during live streams and stuff like that, but it does give you access to the homepage and your subscription feed and different things like that, which will make your YouTube experience more enjoyable. Now, obviously, you could do both of these on the Safari browser, but sometimes you just want to have those apps in their own little window and doing what they're doing. So it's nice to have dedicated apps for Netflix and YouTube available on Apple Vision Pro right now. Now, there are a couple of drawbacks to Apple Vision Pro, which I've mentioned before, but I'll mention them again in this video. Number one, for me, I can't enjoy this thing unless I'm wearing my contact lenses. So I know they have the nice lenses out there that you can buy. So if you do have a prescription, or even if you just want readers, you can put the nice lenses inside of the Vision Pro and do that, and you're good to go. But if I want to enjoy this thing at a maximum, I need to put my contact lenses on, and that's just something that's unfortunate. So that's kind of a barrier for me. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? Since I have to put my contact lenses on, I'm not going to wear Vision Pro today because I don't really feel like going through that hassle. The other limitation, which we've talked about ad nauseum now, is the weight. Now, it's not uber bulky, uber heavy, but after extended periods of wearing this Vision Pro, you do begin to feel the weight on your head. It's undeniable. So I can probably wear this thing, I would say, comfortably or tolerably for around 3-4 hours before I need to take a break, stuff like that. Give my neck a rest, give your eyes a rest. Because the other thing that happens when I'm wearing Vision Pro for a long period of time is that my eyes get watery sometimes. Now, this doesn't happen all the time, but my eyes do tend to get watery sometimes. And maybe that's because my eyes are dry or something, I don't know. But it's something that happens when I'm wearing a Vision Pro for an extended period of time. So I figured I would just make you aware of that so you could do with that information what you will. The Vision Pro is such a cool apparatus and platform for developers to come and make apps on. There's this museum app that I used the other day, which basically took me to a museum or whatever, or actually it took me to different worlds where I can explore different things like underwater technology, space technology, different things like that. So that was cool. Then I went to this other app that's called, I think, Hold the World, and you get to go through like a museum environment with a guide telling you about different fossil bones and what animal they belong to. And you get to see the bone come together to form the animal, and the guide gives you the details on how the animal lived and what it went through and different things like that. It's almost like reading a good book, right? When you read a good book, you're transformed into a different world and you are literally in that book. Well, sometimes on Vision Pro, you are transformed into that world depending on which app you're using, and it just completely takes you to a different environment and you have different learning experiences, and it's exciting, it's great. And it's only going to get better because, again, this is an Apple first foray into this space. And we do have WWDC coming up here in a few weeks where they will announce visionOS 2.0, which will make even more things possible for the Apple Vision Pro. And developers are bringing new apps to the platform every single day. So I am still excited. Yeah, I've seen the jokes out there on social media about, does anybody remember Apple Vision Pro? You better believe we remember Apple Vision Pro. We are living Apple Vision Pro. They're like, why nobody talking about Apple Vision Pro? Number one, you haven't found my YouTube channel. Maybe that's why you don't know that people are talking about the Apple Vision Pro. But number two, and more importantly, we're too busy living inside of Apple Vision Pro to want to talk about it. But they also just released special personas for Apple Vision Pro. I haven't had a chance to call anybody and experience that yet, but I've seen the cool things that people have posted online and on the Twitter, that how with the special personas, you feel like that person is in the room with you. They can experience the whiteboard and games with you. So that stuff is pretty cool. I'll have more info on that when I can experience it for myself. But Vision Pro is here to stay. All this riffraff, I'm seeing a lot about people making jokes about Vision Pro not being viable or not being as popular. Yeah, the popularity has died down, sure. But make no mistake, baby, this channel will be covering all things Vision Pro moving forward, and Vision Pro is not going anywhere. Do you really believe that Apple has invested the millions and hell, probably billions at this point into the Vision Pro and its development only to just quit on it? Bruh, Apple is not Google. Calm down. Hey, if you want to dig a little bit deeper into what the Apple Vision Pro can offer you, I made a video talking about some of the secrets, the things that you might not know right there.